Good morning. Today I want to talk about a couple of things, so let's get the music over with and let's get her done. Alright, the squash mystery is solved. Last week, both squash plants had squash on them, and sure enough, the bush plant that I didn't think, it just didn't look like a spaghetti squash. It was a zucchini, but not even just a normal zucchini. These were short and fat, not quite round, and they were obviously mature when I picked them. So I don't know how it happened. That's how it is. Obviously the seed company got some stuff mixed up, and this can happen. Like I say, you know, some of the surprises in gardening are just stuff you roll with and go on. But there's something else I want to talk about today, and this is just kind of different. This is about car insurance. A couple of weeks ago, and this is why there's been a little pause in my videos, I got into a little car accident here in town. I wasn't at fault. I had the right of way, but my car got totaled, you know, just absolutely totaled. Now this came as kind of a blow to me because this car only had 60,000 miles on it. It was an older, it was an 06 police cruiser, but like I say, it didn't have many miles on it. It was in perfect condition. It was mechanically like new. Now I'm within a couple of years of being able to retire. I may work a little longer, but I don't know. So this was a big blow to me because I could see this car being, you know, good, reliable transportation for another 15 years. So anyway, when I called my insurance company, they said, well, there's two ways you can go. You can have us settle it and we'll pay the claim, or you can just call the other agency because, you know, it's clearly at fault. So, you know, they can pay out the claim. And if we pay it, there's a $500 deductible, and you'd eventually get that back, but, you know, it's going to take some time. So, okay. So I called her insurance company. Happened to be Progressive. And of course, they offered me 2/3 the value of the car. Well, in the meantime, I'd had a talk with the mechanic. And the mechanic told me, because we're getting into this, and he said, don't accept what they offer you. And he told me a story about a car that he'd owned that got hit by lightning in his driveway. And he refused to work on it. He says, listen, there's so many commuter modules in this car, this is going to go on forever. You're going to be fighting it next year this time. I don't want to do that. I want you to total out the car. Well, they didn't want to do it. They took it to several mechanics and spent almost as much money as he had in the car trying to fix it, till they finally decided that, yeah, we got to total it out. Well, the car was worth about $16,000. They wanted to offer him $9 or $10, you know, which is about how this works. Mine was worth, if you looked at NADA, it was worth $4,200 and change. Well, and they came back and they wanted to offer me a little less than $3. So he told me that one of the insurance people had told him that they've got a range of amounts they can pay. Okay? So don't accept a lesser amount than what you feel is acceptable. And so I approached it that way, and I said, listen, lady, this is how it is. I wasn't at fault here. Your driver hit me. I don't see any reason why I should take less than what it would cost to replace this car. And we sent her some stuff to show her, you know, what was available in our area and what prices and so forth. And they came back and said, well, we can give you $2,800. Nope, won't take it. Not going to happen. So then they called back later, and, well, maybe $35. Nope, not taking that either. I said, I would settle for $4,000. And you know, sure enough, amazing as it sounds, they called back 3 or 4 days later and said, check's on the way. So, I realize this is kind of out of my usual gardening motif or little piddly things I'm doing in my backyard, but I think it's good information to have for anybody, that if you own a car and you get into a little fender bender and you're dealing with the insurance who's going to total that vehicle out, you know, find out what it's really worth, what it would cost to replace, and just keep turning them down until they come up with the right amount of money. So that's all for today. Things worked out okay. I'll tell you what, I'll shut this off for a minute, turn it back on. I'm going to show you what I bought to replace it with. Okay, here it is, the beast. This is a 79 F100, which you don't see a lot of anymore. They quit making the F100s. The guy I bought it from, I was kind of lucky. This had been a father-son project, okay? And they've done basically everything mechanically you would need to do to this vehicle. They replaced everything under the front end that was a wear part. They went through the transmission, the steering box, the rear end even, put new brakes on it, and new upholstery. And I think this is kind of funny. Now, it's still got some rough edges and things that need to be fixed. But we're going to fix those because these trucks, you know... Now, here's the upholstery they did on the seat, which is just beautiful. And the guy did a fantastic job. So he got this seat reupholstered, and it's in perfect shape, you know. And what did he do? Put a seat cover over it. Now, that doesn't bother me. It's a nice looking seat cover, and yeah, it does protect it. But it just cracked me up. You know, I would have just enjoyed the nice seat. But yeah, these pickup trucks, when they're fixed up, painted up, it's not unusual for them to go for $20,000, $30,000. So I checked with my body man, described the condition. He says, oh yeah. He says, I can get you done for maybe $3,000. I think he was being a little bit ambitious at that, but you know what? I'm gonna take him up on it. It's got the wood bed in the bottom, and I think this is kind of cute. Somebody at some point or another replaced all the oak, which was probably rotten, but they put in strips of 3/4 plywood. Now, they did a beautiful job putting it in. It looks nice. But, you know, that's not what's supposed to be back here. So, my son and I are going to fix that. He's good at that kind of thing. He's a woodworker. So, we'll replace the wood. You know, you're just talking $200-300. It's not a big deal. So, you know, I just thought it was pretty cute. But the truck runs good. Starts good. There's no problems with it in that behalf. Hold on. Takes 2 hands to open it. That's a 306 cylinder, which this is another cute story about this particular truck. The guy wanted to pull that motor and have it redone. And the guy, I guess he did it at the Ford garage of all places. As you can see, the alternator's been replaced. He said the carburetor had been redone. But the guy at the Ford garage told him, he says, look, he says, I ran a compression test on this engine and it's perfect. He says, you'd just be a total fool to pull it out of there. He said, you know, that thing's got another 100,000 miles left in it before you ever start to have problems. So, I thought it was kind of cute. So anyhow, there's another look at the beast. And from me to you, I hope you have a quality day, and we'll see you next time.